Our next question is, what framework or methodology do you recommend for small businesses to identify and prioritize potential legal risks before they become costly problems?
That's a great question, because for a small business, getting hit by a fine or a penalty for something you weren't even aware of can really derail you, right? So being able to identify those compliance risks and understand what you're most likely to have to deal with is really important. I see people all the time highlight compliance risks for small businesses that, from a realistic standpoint, is not really going to be an issue, right? I can't really say and advise as a lawyer, don't worry about that. Technically, yes, some big government agency can come after you for some of these things, but for some of them, it's unlikely. And the reason is you have to look at what are the enforcement objectives of that agency. If you're not part of their enforcement objectives, and they actually publish this information, or they used to, they might still do it, then you don't have so much to worry about in terms of being targeted, unless you do something that causes it to get flagged to their attention. So there are some areas where I say, this is something a small business deals with a lot. This is how it usually pops up for the small business, and this is what it could really cost you and end up derailing you. And these are other things where the risk profile, it's there. The risk is there. I'm not going to lie, but what's your risk tolerance? It's something I talked about in answer to one of these other questions. So how do you figure that out? So much depends on, what are you doing? Where are you located? Are you regulated? What's your industry, right? How are you delivering those services or products or goods? And that means you really have to have someone take a look at those different aspects of your operations. And you want a professional to do it, and not just a professional that you find online and that you chit chat with, but you want someone that has an obligation to advise you. So when they get it wrong, guess who's on the line? Guess who's on the hook for that? That professional who likely has insurance coverage to cover them and you if they end up poorly advising you. This is why I tell people it's sometimes good to put some money towards a problem. I'm not saying you have to spend everything, right? But even a consultation can help you in some instances, or a small project scope can help you identify the largest risks. So when you see things like an audit or a consultation or a series of consultations, don't blow it off as, oh my gosh, but I'm not getting a contract or something filed. That could be hugely helpful, because it can point you in the direction of what to look for and how to deal with it with the resources you have available.